aside, brother, or feel the wrath of God.
Hello, welcome back to Traumatic Experience. Oh, I'm sorry. This is Video Vortex. And trust me, if you've seen the movie that we're about to talk about, Bloodlust from 1992, you could see where we might get confused with our dearly departed old series Traumatic Experience, because this ain't a trauma movie, but boy, does it feel like a trauma movie, huh?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's over the top. It's low budget and over the top as any trauma movie is. And this movie not being produced at all by trauma, it's you could couple it in there along with something else we might have done at the very start of the show, right? What was the very first episode we did of Video Vortex?
Oh, that goes all the way back to February of 2023 when we did Samurai Cop from 1991.
Yes. Similar, not in theme, but in production value and over the topness, I guess.
Yeah, now Samurai Cop, remember that was like, didn't they save it? Didn't they like literally find it like locked away in a vault or something like that? And then they kind of saved it and put it together kind of thing or something?
Yeah, I forget what, because we
no.
looked up we talked about that on the show, and I forget some of the ins and outs of that,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that, to me, I'd heard of Samurai Cop, but it wasn't one that it was on my radar until we did the show. I forget what it came across my mind again or something when we did the show, and I hadn't thought about it in a while. So that's not one that I'd looked up a whole bunch of stuff on until we did the show, and now I can't remember exactly what the gist is, but I think that's what it was, right? That
Yeah,
it was an
that one kind
unfinished
of,
thing.
yeah, but that one, because of the circumstance of like them finding it later on and putting it kind of
Mm,
maybe fixing it or whatever, that
yeah,
actually, I mean, it didn't look half bad. This one, you
yeah,
can tell it's just
yeah, yeah,
straight up like this is shot on video, 1992. You know, you would almost mistake it for half student film, half late 80s, early 90s rock video.
yeah. It is something like Street Trash comes to mind, but Street Trash, wherein that movie had a bit, I don't know if it had more of a budget or if it just had people with the know-how to do certain things, because this is like a movie that's lower budget than Street Trash, but has the same sort of mentality of people making it, that they want to make a movie like that, but they're just not quite there in terms of technical know-how, maybe, or in acting or whatever ability, all these things. But it's still in that area, I would say,
You can
of
tell
like I said, Samurai
they're
Cop.
learning. They're learning because
Yeah, yeah,
this was written and directed by Jon Hewitt and Richard Wolstencroft. And if this wasn't their first projects, it was like one of. You know,
yeah.
and it's not like they went on to do a bunch more stuff, but obviously they did stuff. I'm sorry, Jon Hewitt hasn't done anything since 2014. Not as sure about Wolstencroft, but yeah, this was, by the way, this was his first. Bloodlust was his first, at least.
It's a student project, I guess you could call it, but it has heart. You could tell that they were like putting the best that they knew how to do at the time into it. They were doing, that whatever they could do,
This
and it
actually,
comes across as being better than your average. Some of the stuff that we will get to, some absolute dreck out there that was being put out in the video market. That this is above that, I think, right?
yeah. Well, I mean, look, this is not. Let's just put this out there. This is not a good movie. This is one of those falls into the category. It's so over the top and so bad that it's good type of movie, right?
Yes,
Like,
yeah,
you wouldn't compare this to anything worth your time generally. But
yeah, yeah.
but I will say in the context of Video Vortex, when we were talking about doing this is the kind of movie that I'm thinking
Oh
of.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
Samurai Cop and stuff, right? Like this is
Yep,
what I wanted to see on this series, right?
absolutely, yeah. And since we've trying to hone in on that over the
Specifically,
course of
yeah, and we're trying to hone in also on the 80s and 90s, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of the reshaping of this thing to what it is
Yeah,
now.
because we had, as some people have been watching this and known, we had some stuff in here from like more modern. I think wasn't there a Batman animated movie? I
Yep.
forget which one it was right now that we did.
Batman Bad Blood.
But yeah, because at that point we were trying to include anything and everything ever directly released to video that didn't play in the theaters, basically. So I mean, that's a very wide playing field when you got and our wheel that we would spin. I forget how many titles were on. It was
Oh
huge.
God, yeah, it was almost 2,000 movies, something like
Yeah,
that.
like 2,000 titles on there. So we're trying to hone in on things. But yeah, like you said, this is exactly what I had in mind too. Just like Samurai Cop for the video Vortex is these off the wall types of movies that are entertaining in their own way if you are open to this kind of movie, to
And,
very low budgets
and I like the fact that it's completely accidental, just like it was with
oh
Samurai
yeah.
Cop. We spun the wheel, there it is. But same thing here, and the fact that none of us had seen
No,
this, right? Like I had,
never even heard of it.
yeah, I'd never even heard of Bloodlust, but
Mm-mm.
man, after watching it, I'm glad we did because
Yeah.
it is so balls to the wall. It's hilarious. It's grimy. It's sleazy, but it's also action filled. And the
Yeah.
gore effects. The gore effects are, for this type of movie, I think they're pretty well done, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of squibs, a lot of blood squibs, and a
Oh,
lot of splattery blood squibs.
tons of unnecessary blood squibs.
Yeah, somebody gets shot with an Uzi, and it's like they got torn up with trying to think like a Gatling gun or with a maybe even with a like one of the guns on like a battleship or something.
You get
I
every
mean, this was like
mutilation.
and it's yeah,
And the
it's
funny
blood
thing,
all of
and the funniest part is, if you think back on the entirety of the movie, and we don't do spoilers here, full spoilers, we just talk about certain things. It's a vampire movie that does not feel like a vampire movie at all. Like
no,
vampirism
no.
has little to do with this, to be honest with you.
It's like a side thought. Like they said, yeah, maybe these guys will be vampires. Maybe we should make them vampires
Yeah, yeah. And then like
for fun, for shits and giggles.
let's just take away almost everything that makes them a vampire, but yet have these religious zealots chase them around, like it's the Inquisition or something, or like their witchfinder general
Yes,
or something.
yeah. And that guy, I don't know his name. I haven't looked it up for this. Now we don't go into deep dives. Maybe at some point we could actually do this on Cold
I
Corner. I
think
don't know, but
I think we should. This needs to
I think we
be
should too.
well. There's enough horror element here to where we can just do this on the podcast proper, and I think
That's true too.
it needs
That's
to be
true.
pulled for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I'd like to dig a little deeper to see because the guy that played the main priest guy was like very animated.
Yeah,
And the camera's like the camera, they knew it. He could act and be this animated, and the camera's like straight up his nose and eyes in various angles and stuff, and he's like
that,
so over the top. He's like his characters might be my favorite and
by the
one of
way,
my favorites.
the name of that character was Brother Bim, and
Brother Bim. Yeah.
that was played by Phil Motherwell. By the way, some of the names
Okay.
in this movie is of just the actors are just I'm sitting there reading the credits at the beginning and just laughing my ass off because you got Phil Motherwell, you've got another dude that played Deke. His name is Max Crawdaddy. there's
That's right.
there's another dude that's a character named Butch. His credited name is just Big Bad Ralph.
So see, that's why I want to do the deep dive on this too. Like, are these even real people? Were they so embarrassed that they not want to put their real names on the movie at first? Or
Yeah,
so this is the questions we need to answer
and that's
if we
quite
do a deep
possible.
dive on
That's
this.
quite possible.
Yeah.
Because I did see I bothered to look up a couple of them, and like they didn't really do much else. So I'm thinking that like
Oh yeah,
it's probably one of those type of casts where like this is the only thing they did, or maybe they only did one or two other things, and that was it.
yeah.
Also, I saw where apparently they shot this over the course of like 5 or 6 weeks, and it was laced with, but shocker of the month, it was laced with issues, including one of the which unnamed that I saw. One of the cast members got arrested on drug charges during during this movie, and then apparently a couple people that they had cast had died before they even started, so it was troubled
Hmm. Yeah.
all the way through. But it did apparently, according to Jon Hewitt, Jon Hewitt, it did end up they ended up making a little bit of money off of it in the end because it shot for a budget of a pack of Jolly Ranchers and cigarettes or something, but it did end up turning a profit on it, small, although small. But yeah,
Yeah.
I will say this, man. It is like I said, when I envisioned this series in my mind, this is the kind of thing that I wanted this to be on this, and I think it delivers. And that
yeah.
really any amount of explaining we do here ain't going to do it justice.
No.
I think it's one of those movies we've talked about before, Smoke, about like, it's the kind of movie once you see it, you want to inflict it on other people. Like, you got to sit and watch this.
Yeah, yeah. It's gauge somebody else's reaction of it.
Yeah, yeah. It really feels like that. So we encourage you to go check it out. As of the recording of this, it was at least available on Tubi. Now, Tubi is notorious for, here today, gone tomorrow kind of thing, month to month. So it may or may not still be there. I'm not sure as of the airing of this, but as of the recording, it was on Tubi. So go check it out there. And it might be in some other various places in other countries and all that. But this is one you should go track down. Before we completely leave it, though, we want to give you our final Vortex rating. Now, we come together beforehand and we give the Vortex rating. This is a scale of 0 through 10. Throws in everything into a blender, what makes it what it is, with our enjoyment and everything. And we came up with a number of 7. So 0 through 10, we gave it a 7, which ties it.
Yep.
Which ties it with our highest rating that we've given out, including Samurai Cop, Microwave Massacre, and Holy Shit.
Yeah.
So 4.7 so far out of 13. Not too bad.
No, that's pretty good. And we'll get a bar. The more of these we do, we'll get that. We'll determine what the bar is for certain movies. Like so far, the 7. All these movies are kind of like what you were saying. I envisioned for Video Vortex, as you did. They kind of encapsulate what the show's about. So if we get something higher than these, like up in the 8s and 9s and 10s, well, yeah,
that's going to be.
But I'm sure we'll get plenty. We'll come across plenty that are well below the bar,
and we already have. I mean, yeah. Honestly, I mean, out of 13, these are probably the 4 best by far that we have watched, because a lot of them are like last month's Night Hunter, Amityville: A New Generation, where it's like, it's a slog to get through it, and you're just like, oh, thank God we got let's move on to the next month kind of thing. So this one was so we highly encourage you to go check it out, and that will bring the end of the Spookshow Sucky Summer Vampire series as far as Video Vortex involvement. We still got some stuff going on over on the podcast every week, but we encourage you to go check out the latest Grindhouse Gutter. And next month we'll be getting back to regularly scheduled programming, so it won't be vampire related. So we spun the wheel to find out what it would be, and honestly, it could have accidentally landed on a vampire movie, and that would have been hilarious. But it didn't. And we're going to be watching Terminal Force from 1989. That is a movie that I want to say on the fringe. I've heard of that title, and maybe I'm just mistaken something else, but to my knowledge, I've never seen it. So I think it was Fred Olin Ray, right? Terminal Force.
Yeah, Fred Olin Ray. So we'll find out what it's going to be like. But I know that it's starring Richard Harrison, and
we saw
Richard Harrison. He's not in a ninja uniform like he normally is that I see him in the Godfrey Ho movies. So we'll see how he is outside a ninja uniform.
I think it may not be quite on the nutty level of Bloodlust, but I think this could be pretty good too. Maybe another.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it because I haven't seen it, and it's Fred Olin Ray and Richard Harrison. So it's a combo that some people would best leave unwatched, I guess. But me, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, same here. So for Will, Donnie, and Tiana, who couldn't be with us, Professor Smoke, I'm Josh. We are from the All American Spook Show podcast, which you can listen to and check out right here on the YouTube channel. Every Monday at 6 p.m. East, new episodes come out, or wherever you get your podcast. And then, of course, stick around here on the channel. Please like and subscribe. Click the bell to be notified down below there. Stay here on the channel. Go check out Grindhouse Gutter, Hammer Horror and Order. Lots of stuff going on. So we appreciate you, and we'll talk to you next month.
Your feet are divine. My true goddess, I could kiss your feet forever.